Hello and welcome to this edition of Eat Right with Rouses. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, and I'm very glad to be here in Rouses, but it's always more fun when you're in Rouses with our favorite dietitian, April Sins. April, welcome.
Hey, Keith. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So very glad to be with you and be in Rouses. And
so fun.
Yeah, and it's just this wonderful fruits and vegetables section here in Rouses. And it's just one of those things that's always enjoyable. But, you know, October brings up this idea. Everybody starts getting excited about Halloween. But I love the fact we got some Halloween tips today.
We do. And, you know, right around Halloween, everybody thinks about candy.
Yep.
So actually 93% of people say they're going to celebrate Halloween with candy and chocolate. So,
oh my.
I mean, that's a large percentage of people.
Yeah.
So as a dietitian, I'm not going to tell you you can't have candy,
right?
But let's think of a few ways to try and be smart about it and not overdo it, right?
Okay.
So since candy is sort of a featured item at the Halloween time, the National Confectioners Association, they've put together a few tips and tricks for Halloween candy. Okay?
It's good. So tips and tricks for Halloween.
Tips and tricks, right, exactly. Not just trick or treat.
That's right, the tips and tricks.
So the first tip is to make a plan for the candy.
Okay.
So that could involve maybe having a conversation with the kids about making informed choices.
Okay.
So maybe, you know, preceding gathering the candy with that conversation and talking about, okay, whenever we get the candy, we don't have to eat it all the night of Halloween.
Yeah.
Right?
We don't need to gorge.
We can spread that out. Yes, you know, so we don't need the stomach aches. And
right. All the problems that come with that.
Yeah, we could do some things to enjoy the candy throughout.
And it be in balance.
In balance,
and that's one of those big things for us to
It's true.
Balance,
it's true. It's true. You don't want to just completely take it away.
Right.
But we can find ways to balance it out.
Okay.
The second tip is understanding candy portions.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because after you've enjoyed a few treats for Halloween, what do you do with the rest of it? Now, one great idea that I just absolutely love is, and have the kids help you with this, take the candy and divide it into some Ziploc bags, and that way you have some portions that are set aside, and that way it's not just a big bowl of candy where there's no portions, where you can grab a bag and have that portioned out for you.
And we're showing portion control.
Portion control.
So very important.
Enjoy portions and just be balanced with it, right?
Gotcha.
And then the other thing, too, is I know a lot of people probably know this one, is to make sure that you eat before you treat. Okay.
So it's not just about treating yourself by eating all candy.
Right.
Find a way to have a balanced meal first.
Balanced meal first. So that way, whenever you do have those treats, you're not going to overindulge in it because you're going to feel satisfied and full from a meal as well. And that way, you're showing that balance as well. Okay. So there's also a few things that you can do with the treats other than portion them out and things like that. And so I have a few ideas for you.
Okay.
And number one idea is to make a trail mix by combining the treats with things like popcorn, maybe it's whole grain cereal like a Cheerio or a granola, and then adding some dried fruit in there. So, and then nuts, you know, if you can have some either some almonds or some peanuts or something like that, you can always add those in as well. So having that combination will give you just a variety of nutrients in there and not just the candy alone by itself.
And the dried fruits can actually be something else, a little sweet.
Yes.
That you're not focused just on the candy to sweeten it.
Exactly, to enjoy it, definitely. And you can also take that candy and you could freeze it in portions too.
Okay.
So freezing the candy can help make it last a little longer, just like with a lot of things. If you put it in the freezer, it'll last longer.
Sure.
So portion that out and you can freeze it, and then whenever throughout the year, whenever you want a little bit of it, then you have it there. Another thing you could do is you could save it for a piñata or birthday party
what
to
a great
enjoy
idea.
it. You know, you don't
Fall
have to
parties?
have it all. Yeah, exactly. Just have it like that, and then you can also share it with your office. Bring it to the office to where it's not, you know, just for one person. You could share it with a group, and that way everybody can have some. And then another idea is kids' crafts sometimes involve candy or science projects. I know my son had to make a cell project one time, and so he used some little candy items to put, to decorate the cell. But there are different things you could do like that with it as well.
And look, the whole idea is, every time I think of piñata, I think of paper mache. Like those things just kind of go together, right? And so paper mache can be like one of those school activities, but it could also be something we do at home.
Oh, yeah.
And if you need to, freeze that candy for that January birthday.
Right.
Freeze that candy. Pull it out right before, a week before the party.
Yeah.
Let it get room temperature while you're making a piñata with the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's also some really nice desserts you can make as well. So you can also take like a yogurt and make a yogurt bark, chop up some of those chocolate candies that won't get hard if it's frozen.
Right.
And you can put that in a yogurt bark with some fruit and then freeze it, and then you can have like a nice sweet treat that's not just the candy alone.
Yeah, it's like a little parfait.
So you can see kind of like a common theme when you're looking at all of these things is we're balancing it out. We're not having just the candy alone, but we are enjoying it because it is a tradition, but not overdoing it and not overindulging.
Yeah, and quite frankly, you can separate it out, like some of the balance that you said, put it in little bags, and then some goes to trail mix, some goes to this.
Yes.
We got lots of options to better enjoy the treat and some tips for how to do that well.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Yes.
Great recommendations, April. Thanks
you.
for coming in. Thanks for sharing this time with me at Rouses. I appreciate it. It's always fun.
Thank you so much, Keith.
All right. And that'll do it for this particular segment of Eat Right with Rouses. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more local programming right here on HTV.